Coming up now, we have Rob Wasinger from McGuire Woods. He was also on the 2016 Trump campaign. Rob, thanks so much for joining.
You got it, Rubino. How are you?
I'm doing great this morning. We've had a wild show. We have Diamond and Silk coming up at 9:38. We just had Laura Trump on. We had Brooke Rollins on from the Domestic Policy Council, Dan Hoffman, who's on Fox News all the time. So it's been a wild morning. I wanted to
Good.
get your sense of what is going on. You write great articles. Everyone should check Rob out on Twitter. He, one, puts out very thoughtful tweets that I always enjoy. But two, he also writes things for a variety of different publications. So, Rob, what do you have going on? What are you writing? What are you talking about?
I think the latest thing, probably what I'll put together into a piece next, is, talking about Joe Biden and how he's running his campaign. There's a joke among political professionals: if you have a gaffe-prone candidate or somebody that makes a lot of mistakes that are unforced errors, you always joke, if we could just send him to Bermuda for 3 or 4 months, we could win the primary without him.
Yep.
And then we'll bring it back when it's over with. It's always been a joke. Nobody ever thought it would work, but that's exactly the strategy they've implemented with their candidate, Biden, who I think by all measures is a highly defective candidate. They're basically keeping him in hiding, hoping that, nobody's going to give close scrutiny to his record, which is very interesting. Look at some of the things that he did back in the 70s and the 80s. He's not the person that he pretends to be, and so I think to prevent that scrutiny, they've hidden him away. So I think, one of the real leverage points that we have as a campaign, or that Trump has as a campaign, is to make that contrast with Biden very stark and very clear. The story almost tells itself, the evolution of Joe Biden, and the fact that they're hiding away verifies that story even more.
I couldn't agree with you more. So while we had Laura on, we played a clip of Joe Biden yesterday at his news conference, if you want to call it that. It was, he had a predetermined list of people to call on, and he still didn't even know who they were. I think that the basement strategy is effective. Moving forward, what do you think the campaign and White House should be employing as far as messaging? What do you believe resonates in 2020 with an undecided voter?
Well, I think Trump always had it right in 2016. I mean, the best campaign strategist, the best campaign manager, the best candidate for all of this is Trump himself. So he really needs to, take control of the whole operation, just be himself and trust his instincts. And I think the thing that's going to win it for him is the criticism that he had of the Republican and the Democrat Party in 16 has not changed. It's as Buchanan once described it, two wings on the same bird of prey, right? So the Republicans and the Democrats in Washington, they all work together to get their free trade deals, their corporate handouts, all of this. And I think the note that Trump struck in 2016 really resonated with American voters who've been paying the bill for all this nonsense for the years. So I think kind of getting back to that basic messaging is good. Also, he has a lot of great stories to tell about the economy. Now, I know that, the current pandemic has hampered everything down, but the economy is just revving right now, waiting for the go. And I think it'll come roaring back. So he has a lot of great stories to tell. He just needs to get out and tell them in a forceful and articulate way. And that's the contrast with Biden. I mean, talk about a career politician. The story tells itself.
It truly does. And, with our last 2 minutes, would you mind talking to us? You worked in the Senate. Talk to us about the 94 crime bill. I mean, there's no more of an easy dichotomy to draw between Donald Trump and Joe Biden. Donald Trump passes the First Step Act. Joe Biden, supports the 1994 crime bill. And, what do you make of everything? What do you make of Tim Scott and his work with the administration? So, expound on that for the last 2 minutes here.
Yeah, Senator Scott's been a real leader, and he's stepped up to really make the case for some items that really need to be discussed. Biden, on the other hand, kind of what we were talking about earlier, has evolved as a person and a candidate substantially since the 70s. And his record, even the 94 crime bill, is a disaster. And we need to let the American people know what he did and what he advocated for at the time. and draw those distinctions, because it's not the Joe Biden they see on the ballot today. The Biden we see on the ballot today is a radically different Biden that has been radicalized by the far left of the Democrat Party.
Well, he's beholden to them, and his vice presidential candidate's most likely to come from that ilk.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I think he's kind of given away the store with these parameters he set around who his vice presidential pick would be. By the way, just one last thing, and I know you got to go, and thanks for having me on. I think one of the real success stories of President Trump is he's not only redefined what it means to be a conservative and a Republican in America today, he has fundamentally altered and changed the Democrat Party. It is a party in crisis, searching for an identity, and it is yet to find one. And he's exposed all of that. I think that's one of the greatest things that he's done politically for this country, because it exposes them for who they are to the American people.
Well, in that identity crisis, I guess I just wonder, will the American people suffer from the same identity crisis, or are we all in, what I've been really harping on this radio show is that I've noticed people have really turned inward. They're all introverts now. They're all worried about their own feelings, their own this, their own that. You just got to hope that Joe Biden's introverted message does not, resonate with them, which I don't think it does. I think the president's message of, unifying the country, policies that bring us all together, that make America prosperous and great again, will resonate.
Oh, yeah, no, I totally agree. The American people are great people. They want to do great things and be good stewards. And I think that at the end, Trump's message, which fits with that philosophy, will resonate and deliver the victory for him in November.
Well, Rob, thank you so much for joining me today.